A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, it's a Slice of Gaming podcast. I'm your host, Moonlight150, and this is Slice of Gaming podcast for September 1st, 2023, or International Starfield Day to those who celebrate. So, we've got a very light news week because a certain game came out, which I'm sure we'll be sure to talk about at the end. But we got a little bit of housekeeping that I do want to mention before we get into the news. Some announcements. It is September, so there's a lot of games running around now. So we do want to mention that we got some meal preps and food comas. We won't be saying what just yet. Be sure to tune in future episodes for those. So we got at least a couple planned. Some of them should be coming out this month, but we'll see how it goes. But the bigger announcement to make is that we do have a new spin-off program that we'll be launching here pretty soon in the next week or so. So be on the lookout for that. That is actually called A Slice of Anime. So it's less of a news podcast. It's more just chilling, just talking about our favorite anime news if it does pop up, and making recommendations to one another. So it's just going to be a lot less news focused, like I said, and just us chilling, talking about it. So if you're interested in anime and are interested in it, then be sure to check it out. So before we get in the news, we'll say one last time, make sure to like and subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, and Audible. So we'd like to thank you for giving a slice of your time for tuning in to a Slice of Gaming podcast. And now we can move on to Captain Wolf.
Hey, Moon, real quick, don't you need to introduce everyone in the podcast?
No, they're unimportant. It's only me.
And he forgot about us.
All right.
It happens, man. It happens.
I was so
Literally
distracted.
forgot us.
I was so distracted by doing the housekeeping that I forgot. Okay. Lost in the streets of New Atlantis, it's Bench.
Hello. Unhappy to be here. Let's go.
It's the famed sandwich burglar, Wolf.
Yeah, you know me. Sandwich.
Failing his space magic studies, Fusion.
Good evening.
Trying not to get shanked in Neon, it's Dark.
How's it going, guys?
And saving all his Riz for Sarah Morgan, it's Jat.
Look, I'm trying, all right? It's really hard.
Okay,
Now
man.
we can move on to the news.
Yeah, now we can move on to the news. Thank you, Moon. Glad you introduced the members of this esteemed cast.
It's a one-man show and he's running it.
For real.
I'm going to be talking about the games by myself. I'm going to talk about anime by myself.
Yeah, as Moon alluded to, we have an extremely light news week. Probably our lightest news week since starting the podcast, actually. The first one, all of our big topics are actually pretty negative news stories, so just be prepared emotionally, I guess. Our first one is Saints Row developer Volition Games has been closed down. This comes from Chris Scullion over at VGC. Saints Row developer Volition has been shut down, quote, effective immediately. A message from the studio reads, the Volition team has proudly created world-class entertainment for fans around the globe for 30 years. We've been driven by a passion for our community and always worked to deliver joy, surprise, and delight. This past June, Embracer Group announced a restructuring program to strengthen Embracer and maintain its position as a leader in the video game industry. As part of that program, they evaluated strategic and operational goals and made the difficult decision to close Volition effective immediately. To help our team, we are working to provide job assistance and help smooth transition for our Volition family members. We thank our customers and fans around the world for all the love and support over the years. You will always be in our hearts. So to immediately ask the panel, which of us are Saints Row fans?
I've never played a Volition game.
Yeah, I've never played one either.
Yeah, I
actually.
wanted to know, this is not the
Yeah.
same original Saints Row developers. It's just the new reboot one
No,
that
this
just came out.
This is the original Saints Row.
Yeah, this is.
Oh, is
yeah,
this?
yeah.
Oh, I thought it was
Yeah.
the remake company. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's the original studio that made Saints Row and also Red Faction. Those games back on the PS2. So I also haven't played a Volition game. So
That's good.
this is not the best panel for this news story in terms of like remembering Volition games as a studio. But I bet you they made some damn good games. At least when stuff like Saints Row 3. Obviously, the Saints Row reboot did not work out the way any of us were expecting it to. The game was a massive flop, both financially and critically. But I still do very much feel bad for a studio, like a bunch of people losing their job, and in general, just like a studio that's been around for a long time. This is an over 30-year-old studio, and
I need to look up their games.
just to very professional podcast. All right, we don't know who's getting fired, but hey, you know
Well,
what?
I was
God bless them.
already like, I thought this was the remake developers.
They're very professional.
Wouldn't
It's okay.
wouldn't the
Go ahead,
bigger
Mitch.
question be like the future of the studios under Embracer? Because this is
That
IDAC's
is
gonna
the
be the first one to fall.
I can't remember who said it, but I remember someone saying, "Man, Embracer must have a big plan, or they're really stupid." Turns out they're really stupid.
Oh, yeah, I saw that tweet.
This is very clearly they were just buying studios for the sake of buying studios. They wanted to bolster their first-party development software, and they did not realize how difficult running all these studios would be. And I think it's pretty clear, like we are going to see a lot more either studio closures from them or a lot more studio sellings. Like they're probably going to sell a lot of their studios to the highest bidder. You know, maybe Microsoft scoops up a few of them. I don't actually know who else is under THQ. I obviously know the Dead Island devs are, which honestly I forgot who they are. There's like 5 Dead Island 2 devs.
I think the Borderlands
But
devs are in that group as well.
is Gearbox? I don't think
Yeah,
Gearbox
they are,
is
I
on
think.
there.
Yep.
Oh wait, no.
No.
Oh, they are.
No,
Okay.
well, yeah, they're under Embracer, but they're not like under THQ, and I'm just learning that like that the company that just shut down Volition, they were under both THQ and Gearbox at one point.
Yeah, no, it's a weird
According to
situation.
this, it's under Volition is under Gearbox currently as of 2022. It only lasted from 2022 to 2023.
This
That's
is a
why-
very,
They
very
just
weird
got 'em.
company.
Well,
Man.
so this is why I didn't recognize it because I thought this was just the remake. I didn't know the remake and the original studios were the same
Yeah.
makers. I thought it was like a whole new company took over the remake. But no, it's
No.
the same company. But and that's the reason why I didn't recognize it because I knew the name Deep Silver for the original Saints Row games, but apparently that was like an older name of theirs.
No,
Now
no,
it's
Deep
Volition.
Silver was the publisher.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Deep Silver was their parent company at the time.
Yeah, I see the Deep Silver here from 2013 to 2022. So that's why I got it mixed up.
To any Volition fans, I'm really sorry that half of this is us trying to figure out
Trying to figure
who
out
owns them.
the company, trying to figure out the company themselves.
Yeah, no, it's clear. But I mean, even then, like this is a sad story. I mean, Saints Row as a franchise was very well beloved, at least with the first 4 games. But that reboot definitely hit a nail in the coffin for that franchise. I don't think we're going to get a new Saints Row anytime soon. I'll say that much.
Well, at least according to a lot of Saints Row fans, it kind of started dying off with 4. Not a lot
Yeah,
of people
it's-
were excited
a lot of-
4.
People like 4.
There were
think
some people, but it
a
definitely
majority
seems
of
like
people.
3 was the more popular one.
2 is the most popular. People loved. Maybe that's a lot of. I feel like Saints Row 2 love is almost like Oblivion love because like revisionist history of like, oh well, Oblivion is better than Skyrim. It's like no, it's not. So it's like in this case, it's like I feel like it's like Saints Row 2 fans like, man, Saints Row 2 is definitely better than 3. It's like
Man who hasn't
I'll
played Saints Row says this.
I'm just
I
saying.
think
I'm
it's
just
fitting.
saying. I think it's interesting. This is revisionist history because when Saints Row 3 came out, I remember everyone was saying it was the best Saints Row game. Same with Saints Row 4. So that's all I'm saying.
I see a lot of people, at least from what I see, is like Saints Row 4 is like okay, and they got too weird with it, but it's like Saints Row 3 apparently like balances everything the best.
I mean, I've seen a lot on Saints Row, and it definitely looks like a lot of fun. Well, everything before the reboot. It looks like a fun franchise. It's just
Speaking
I
of
don't know, I
reboot,
never
it's
had
coming to
time
PS Extra.
oh man, I would have put that under news stories if I gave a fuck.
The timing though.
So
That
not to
timing is
like,
depressing.
but not to kick a like company while it's down, obviously. But just looking at least the Wikipedia page and listing their products, it's like it kind of makes sense in a way. Saints Row is definitely their biggest moneymaker, or at least more well-known franchise, because you have Descent, Free Space, Summoner, Red Faction, Saints Row, and then just the singular game of Agents of Mayhem. It's like none of
Oh,
those
that game
games
was awesome.
outside of the Saints Row series really took off. I feel like.
Yeah, Agents of Mayhem was a disaster. Most people absolutely hated that game.
Because
So
wasn't
I
it a
think-
Saints Row spinoff?
No, it was its own thing in general.
Oh.
But like, it was one of those things where it's like, why are you making this instead of Saints Row? It was like pretty much what everyone was saying. And it's kind of one of those
Oh, no.
sad things of like,
It does
a
say
studio
here, following
basically-
Saints Row 4, Volition developed Agents of Mayhem, a game set in the Saints Row universe.
okay, set in the Saints Row universe. There's probably like one guy who's like, hey, I'm Mr. Saints Row. Like, all right, that doesn't mean anything. I always hate when a video game does that, and then you play it. It's like this is not in the universe. This is like another suburb in comparison.
That's really what Ubisoft is doing with X Defiant. They're like,
Yeah.
there's games in every Ubisoft universe together.
Yeah, like
Where
it's
are the
like
rabbits?
this game takes place in North America, while Tom Clancy games take place in South America. Like that's basically what they're saying. It's like, okay, it's the same planet. It's a weird
Yeah.
situation.
I know
But yeah,
they
no,
had a lot of employees. I know, like 200 plus. I'm pretty sure.
I think 200, 300. I don't know the exact numbers, but I mean, I think the big thing is just like I hope that everyone on Volition gets on their feet and hopefully making games for
Yeah.
other companies that won't close them down. It's a sucky situation in general because like I feel this also kind of brings up a conversation of just like AA games like Saints Row just don't have as much of a place in the industry anymore than they used to 10 years ago, and that just sucks because I love those AA goofy games, and seeing them kind of like be replaced by just like waiting for the next big AAA game, man, it's just a sucky situation.
Yeah, there's no positive out of
Yeah.
it.
It's like it's a sucky
Yeah,
thing, but it's
I-
also like not surprising.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
not
it's not
surprised.
surprising, but still. All right, I think we can move on. Again, I'm sorry if you're a massive Volition fan watching this and these knuckle nuts over here.
I think we
talking
covered
about-
most of it. We got ourselves a nice history lesson.
I'll make sure to play Saints Row 3 by the end of this year. Okay, you can
No,
bet
you
on it.
won't.
No, you won't.
Yes, I will. I will.
We're gonna
I
forget
will.
by
I will
next
do
week.
it. God bless you, Volition.
Yeah, he's gonna forget about this by next week.
No,
Too
no,
much
no.
Starfield.
Hold me to it. Hold me to it. Next news story. Oh yeah, Bench, you had something?
Never. I was gonna say you just aren't gonna play it.
Oh yeah, thanks.
Like,
Moving on.
thanks.
New PS Plus pricing and Xbox Game Pass eliminates $1 deal. I kind of wanted to group these together because they kind of like follow the same mold, but we're gonna stick with the PS Plus story for the first part. Dom over on Twitter says Sony is raising PlayStation Plus pricing for 12-month subscriptions just over a year after its rebranding. Here are the new prices, former in parentheses. Essential, $79.99, originally $59.99. Extra, $134. I'm sorry, I can't say this with a straight face.
Bro is dying.
$134.99. $134.99. Formerly $99.99, and premium. Okay, hang on, I can do this.
Breathe.
Premium, $159.99, going up from $119.99. As you can tell, I think this is a fucking joke. But hey, you know
Yep.
what? I'm not the only one who thinks it's a joke. Fusion, how do you feel, Mr. PlayStation? Because
Yeah,
we're the
this
big
is-
PlayStation guys.
I thought it was a joke at first. Like I legit
Same.
read the tweet and I was like, this isn't real. Like they have nothing on their service to even like make this okay. And then like everyone started to tweet about it. And I was like, they really are doing this. Like this is the one thing where it's like this is when PlayStation needs competition or they could do this stuff. Like just how they raised the PlayStation, like the PS5 itself and like certain areas of the world, they raise the price of the console. It's like when they don't get competition, they can just do what they want and still like get away with it.
I don't get it. Like you added nothing. Like is Sea of Stars that big of a get? I don't know. Like
Yes.
I mean maybe, but like it's
look at
insane.
premium. Look at premium for a second and tell me right now that's a good deal. $160 for a year so I could play fucking Ape Escape. You really think
Hell
I'm
yeah.
paying that much money? I'm the retro games guy. I like these games. I like these old ass bullshit games. And they're gonna sit here and tell me, okay, we're gonna go from 120 to 160 and we're gonna add no new premium games. I think I understand a price increase if they were like I could somewhat understand a price increase if they were adding something, but they didn't. They just increased the prices and said, man, things happen. I don't know how to tell you. What do you mean things happen? You're number one. You don't need to increase the prices.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see like if anything does get added later. Like it would have softened the blow if they said like, yeah, we're raising the prices, but stay tuned. We got some cool announcements that because of it in the meantime. But
It's-
as of right now, there's no announcement. My only guess is maybe they're gonna start doing some more day one
Showcased.
releases like they did with Sea of Stars.
Or a state of
Yeah, at
play,
that point,
as
just
Jeff
keep Game
Grubb
Pass.
over on Twitter.
Nice
Jeff
segue.
Grubb over on Twitter said, friend of the show, by the way. I've heard a state of play is coming, and this feels like a lead-in for that. As a quote retweeting the whole PlayStation Plus price increase. I mean, I feel like a state of play. I don't know how much that state of play can reveal to make this price increase justifiable. That's all I'm saying.
Little Devil Insight's finally coming, and it's gonna shadow
That
drop.
was worth the
into-
price
that-
increase.
that's
into the
gonna make me-
PlayStation Plus.
That's gonna make me cancel PlayStation Plus, man. I'm sick of seeing
Part of
that
me
game.
believes
There's-
that Sony thought
Go
that
ahead, Nick.
Xbox wouldn't get Baldur's Gate 3, which was just announced like a week or two ago. And they were like, oh shit, we kind of got this thing already in motion, so I guess we have to announce it now.
Nah,
there's nothing to
it
justify
wouldn't. It wouldn't have been like this quick of a turnaround, though. I don't think.
I'm sure something like this has to go like through so many departments and approvals and all that. So this has clearly been like,
Meaning that this got
In the
approved by
last
a
couple
bunch of
weeks.
people, and they got nothing to give people.
yeah.
No
so
one in the company said, "Hey guys, listen.
what are we
maybe,
offering?
Maybe we can increase extra." Essential has
yeah,
changed.
Essential makes no sense.
Okay. You increase Essentials pricing, and you say, "Hey guys, you're getting Saints Row for free this month." Like, okay,
Hell
hang
yeah.
on. What am I getting out of this? I don't get it.
I only
Saints Row,
pay
I
for
mean-
Essential.
Yeah, I only pay for Essential too, and I'm
too.
paying more for nothing else.
That's the one that bothers me. Like extra, whatever. Like at the end of the day, extra. It's not as good as Game Pass, but still, with the year, it's less than a year's worth of Game Pass. But it
Yeah.
obviously isn't comparable because you don't get first parties.
Oh,
But
yeah,
it's the
of
fact
course.
that like Essential's going up when Essential has been like, granted you're getting really good Essential games every month. Like for the most part, you're getting 3 like playable titles, but it's still not worth like the $20 extra a year now when you're not getting anything added onto it.
I can't stop thinking about how premium went up by $30.
And then yeah, premium. They
What
lock
changed?
demos behind that still. Like you still need premium
Dude,
to like play
is-
demos and trials.
Premium has literal jack shit. There is no value to getting premium. Again, as the retro game player, there is zero value to that service. If you could download PS3 games natively, okay, that's still ridiculous to increase the price, but hey, at least I can download PS3 games natively. No, I can't. I can't even do that. So why am I paying $160 a year just for fucking streaming PS3 games at like 480p quality?
And as we were talking about with the PlayStation Portal last week, like you won't even be able to play those stream games on that thing.
Oh my god, I forgot
Yeah,
about that.
yeah.
By the way,
That's
that got a release date for November 15th.
Woohoo! I can't
Hey,
wait
you
to
know
not
what?
spend
Mark your
money on that.
calendars. I
And
mean,
it's like
overall-
that's
ahead,
these are one of the things where it's like because most people when they have like these PlayStation subscriptions, they always buy the year, and then they always get like they always keep the subscription like reoccurring on, so they always randomly get hit with it. You're about to get hit with $160 at once 1 month and miss your rent. Like it's just gonna happen. Like someone's gonna miss their rent because they just got $160 worth of bad video games, and they're gonna be like, "Well, I'm on the streets now."
So yeah, I do think it's like we'll have to see what if the state of play is correct and there is one coming soon, which I think there's been a rumored September state of play rumor for a while now. So we'll have to see if they actually add anything. If we get the state of play and nothing is announced or added to the PS Extra lineup or the PS service in general, then yeah, we can call bullshit on this. I think it's just dumb that they just announced this. They didn't even really announce it. It kind of just got word of mouth, got leaked out, and everyone
Yeah,
started
yeah.
talking about it. It wasn't even formally announced. But the fact they do this,
Exactly.
and let's say the state of play is like a week or two away, the fact that this already went into effect without a proper state of play, it's like, hey, I know we're increasing prices, but stay tuned for the state of play to find out what's being added. It's like, try some marketing.
It's ridiculous.
Look,
The only thing I could see-
Homestarts is gonna get a release date. Everybody's
That's
be
what I
playing
was
it.
true.
I'll just say, Dark like said in the Discord chat earlier that I think he jokingly said it, but the only thing I could see is maybe like in the future with all the like games of service coming, like this live service stuff, if they're all going to be day and date in like PlayStation Extra, for example,
I don't think that was me who said
that's gonna
that.
be worth it. And that's
Even
Yeah,
some
I
of
had
it,
that
like,
same
year
thought. Like maybe
before.
we're gonna get a lot more day and date stuff.
yeah, what like a lot more day and date on like the live service stuff, and like maybe not the true first party like Juggernauts, but like the Helldivers 2. Like Helldivers 2 would be a good get.
The
for
AA
this type
games,
of thing.
yeah.
I'm
And
Okay,
maybe
but-
that's the reason, but
I'll pay
This
30 extra
CS
dollars for
Stars-
Helldivers 2. Let's go.
CS Stars was a good
Go
get
ahead,
for
Nick.
PlayStation having it day one, but if this is the price for it, that's a fucking yikes, bro.
Yeah, and it's like it's still cheaper than Game Pass for a year. You said, right, Fusion?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
So,
yeah,
like,
It's not
I
Game
get
Pass.
it, but
Yeah.
even then, you get so much less out of it than Game Pass, even comparatively. Like, you still get a lot. Don't get me wrong. Like, there's a lot of good stuff on PlayStation.
Yeah, there's a lot of good
Extra.
monthly stuff that gets added, which just horrendously adds more to my backlog because I just download stuff. I download everything that's interests me,
Oh
which is a
my
lot.
God, man.
I'm a hoarder like that. But yeah, I didn't think of that. Obviously, I was not going as far as saying, "Wow, imagine like Sony actually put in their first party stuff on here like Game Pass does." I'm like, obviously, they're not going to do that. But I didn't think of that. All their live service stuff, if that's going to go straight there, that's an interesting proposition. Let's see if you're right.
Yeah, Mystic Ryan. I can't say friend of the show. He's friend of the show. He had a theory in one of his videos that I kind of subscribe to. Is basically that PlayStation is currently working on a PS2 emulator because like the PS2 emulator right now just isn't up to snuff for the PS5. So they're working on a new one, and they'll be adding those PS2 games eventually as soon as that emulator goes up. Because if you remember when Premium came out, it was like, hey guys, check out our PS1 catalog, and it was like 3 games, and then check out our PS3 catalog, and it was all streaming games. Check out our PSP catalog, 2 games. But then they had the PS2 catalog. I was excited. I'm like, okay, maybe there's games here. And it was all the PS2 games that were already on the PS4. So I'm like, okay, I hate this company, first off. But maybe eventually there's going to be a PS2 emulator, and they'll actually start bringing back the PS2 games that we want to play, like, the original Ratchet trilogy, the Sly games, Silent Hill 2 and 3. This is hopium right now, okay, guys? This is getting fucking ridiculous.
I know, we're turning this like we're being charged $30 extra for our yearly service, and now we're just huffing hopium on them. Like, why?
Well, it's the type of thing where it's like you would announce these prices after you announce all that other stuff. Like after you're like, oh,
that's what I was saying. It's like, why?
But maybe,
now,
like
granted,
you said, they didn't officially announce it. So maybe
no, that's what I was just about to say. Yeah, this was not officially announced.
Oh no, it was. It was on the PlayStation blog.
Well, I think what came out first though? Did the PlayStation blog come out first?
PlayStation blog.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Also,
never mind. I was gonna give Sony a little credit, like, okay,
Sony
maybe
ponies.
I was gonna give Sony a little credit, like maybe this is just them being unfortunately like word got out, but no, if they already put it out officially, it's like.
But can you really say everyone's going to
before?
Can you really say everyone's going to pay attention to the PlayStation blog?
True,
yeah.
Who looks at that?
Well, I mean, news articles will.
Yeah, news articles will, and then they'll link it, and then obviously it gets more traction on Twitter.
Bench has a one-man army attack on the PlayStation blog. He is bringing that shit down no matter what.
I mean, he has a decent point where like your casual consumer is never going to hear news from the PlayStation blog, and like they're just going to go to their PlayStation one day and be like, "Why am I now charged $30 extra?" Oh, you should have been something that's like 6 months ago.
When I turn on the PlayStation, they should tell me that. Like, hey, by the way, we're going to increase PlayStation Plus.
Did any of y'all get an email about it?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Oh, did we?
I don't.
Maybe it
think
was spam. I should probably check that. I'll check my spam email
box.
Like,
Jim Ryan's emails are going to your spam. That's crazy.
Jim Ryan directly emails me like pictures of himself on vacation. I don't know why. It's really weird.
No, he sends you a personal video that he records. Like, Wolf, unfortunately, I have to tell you, your PS Extra is going up.
Okay, it did go to my spam, but yeah, I did get an email.
Wow.
But yeah, no, this is just a weird situation. Speaking of price increases, Xbox also, maybe not price increase, but they're eliminating the $1 deal. This came from Warrior64 over on Twitter. Microsoft has apparently eliminated the $1 Xbox Game Pass trial once again, just before the release of Starfield. And then he shows like a picture of like today versus earlier in the month, showcasing that you will no longer be able to like buy Game Pass for $1 and get that 14-day trial. So, Fusion replied to me putting this in the Discord. Oh fuck! There goes my strategy for Starfield.
That was my strategy, and they ruined it.
I mean, I don't know how often. So I actually am not as familiar. So he says $1 deal once again. How often have they eliminated the $1 deal? I'm actually not too familiar.
I think it was like one other time. Wasn't it like right before Halo or Red?
I got like 3 people talking at once. Stark, you go. You're the Xbox guy.
I could be wrong, but they've done it at least 2 times. I want to say it's been 3 times, and it's been with like all of their quote-unquote big releases, and then it comes back.
Okay, so this isn't surprising.
It's not that big of a deal.
I mean, it's not. Yeah, it's not surprising when it comes to like their massive deals. I mean, yeah, it's always sucky. It's like the fusions of the world. It's like fuck, I can't play it for $1. But also, it's like this has happened before, so I don't think this is anywhere near the level as PlayStation's bullshit. I'll say that
Oh
much.
no. It's scummy,
Yeah.
but it's not that scummy.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and like they used to offer it like when the Series X and S launched in like 2020. They would offer $1 for 3 months, but then eventually, when more games came out, they reduced it to $1 for
Well, yeah,
for
I
one
mean,
month.
they wanted to sell consoles. That's why they
Yeah.
offered it for 3 months.
Also, I do want to
They're
know.
like, oh, we
Yeah,
That's
have
for
that was a
video
first-time
game.
users, I'm pretty sure too. So
Yeah, if you're
Yeah.
a first-time user, but even no, that was the Game Pass deal for
Yeah.
$1.
And now they're also like replacing Xbox Gold with Game Pass Core. So now that's like their strategy.
Oh yeah,
It-
I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's just kind
Game-
of, it's just a
That's cool.
restructuring.
Well,
More
okay.
games with gold. Wow.
Well,
All those
God
games
bless
that
games with gold.
I never got to download because they were just so good.
They were never good. I'll tell you that right now. I was always like, I wonder what the games with gold this month is, and it's like so fucking 22 towers, and I'm like, what the fuck is this?
they were like not even indie quality games. Like they were
Yeah,
under
they were just like
whatever
shovelware.
is under indie. That's what those were.
Under indie, damn.
Like they were not
The
good.
underground.
It was so good.
AI developed games. I swear to God, some of those games I'm like, this is AI developed. There's no way this is a real team.
I feel really bad, but there's times where like I'll look at a store, I'm like, this is like someone's favorite video game of all time. Like somehow this game right here, like this is their goat. And I'm just like, I don't
Someone
know how
I don't
spent
know.
like a good couple months of their life, probably maybe even a year or so, making this thing. And I just kind of look at it like, this was your whole life for like a good chunk of time. I don't know, I guess
so
everyone
mo-
has to start somewhere.
Yeah, really. So moving on, this is more of a funny story than a sad story, I guess. But like, it's just a kind of story that we could talk about with game development in general. This comes from Okami Games over at Twitter. The Elder Scrolls 6 has officially left pre-production and is now in early stages of development. Now, I do want to specify. This game's logo was revealed in 2018, 5 years ago. And then now we got pre-development, baby. Let's go.
Let's go.
Elder Scrolls 6 2030.
It's gonna somehow
I feel
come out before Mass Effect.
Honestly, yeah. I kind of wanted to use this as almost a launching pad into a discussion of just a simple question that I'm pretty sure we all know the answer of. Are games revealed too early?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
but they've
100%.
got the industry has gotten a lot better at it. As
Yes,
of like
agreed.
not doing it. Like 2018, 2019 was really bad,
Well-
but like in recent years it's gotten better.
I mean, I guess even then, like Wonder Woman got a logo reveal. In that we're getting less
Yeah.
like logo reveals and more so like job hiring reveals where it's like, hey guys, we're making a new Splinter Cell. Also, we need someone to make it.
Please make it.
I want to say that
basically.
Nintendo right now is probably like the best at like revealing games super close to a launch.
Oh yeah, easily. I mean,
Yeah,
Metroid
that being
Prime 4
said-
was like their one.
Yeah, I'm about to say that makes
Sony's also got
no
better.
longer.
Yeah,
yeah, Sony's
good at
gotten
it too, but
a little better, yeah. But even then, like, I mean, when are we expecting fair?
Well, the
games at
first
this point?
parties have gotten better at it. It's these random third-party developers that
wouldn't
are
give
like,
Microsoft
please
that
come make
credit.
our game for us.
Yeah, I mean, they're job hiring posts. That's really what they
Well,
are
like,
at this point.
Yeah,
I mean, we got
you're
that with
the-
Tomb Raider.
You're with Nintendo and PlayStation. You don't need a job hiring post. You have the cloud.
You have the
True.
what?
the clout.
Cloud.
Oh, I thought he said you have the cloud. I'm like,
Yeah, that's
what?
what I thought you said too. The
Is
cloud,
the
like, okay, we're cloud
developing
developing.
these games?
Hell yeah, streaming
I mean,
games.
they
That's
just
the
they just
future.
have the best devs anyways, you know what I mean?
Oh, easily. No, I mean, Nintendo and Sony first party are like the best in the business. But you know, even and Xbox maybe, who knows? We'll see with Starfield when we get into our impressions later. But I don't know. It's just a weird thing with like Elder Scrolls 6 specifically. I mean, at this point, when do you guys even expect this game to come out?
A long time.
At first, I was gonna
20,
say it's gonna be a
30.
launch title for next gen, or whenever the fuck that is. I don't think this is the case. I think this is a mid-gen of next gen release.
Nah, I think that maybe that's going a bit far.
I don't think
Maybe
so.
with now the Microsoft money behind them and like support studios, they could churn it out just a bit
So
quicker.
here's the thing.
But
The
this
thing
is
with
still
Microsoft
like
money,
2026.
if we're going off of Microsoft
Yeah,
money,
earliest.
it's gonna get delayed even more because they want it to be polished like Starfield.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
So it's not gonna come out.
that's the
soon.
issue. That's the issue. I don't. I think at the earliest it's 2026 and latest is 2028. I don't think it's as like mid-gen.
There is no
next
way
gen.
it's 2026.
I
think
can
it's-
see
That's
it.
full. Okay, granted, we are in
That's
September
like
now
the
of
earliest,
2023,
earliest.
so that's like
There's
only a
no
little
way
over
it's
2 years.
coming out
Okay,
the
so
latest.
yeah, maybe not 2026, 2027.
I think 2028 is realistic to say. But
Yeah,
7,
2028.
no, it's gonna get announced. It's gonna get announced for 7, and then it'll get delayed to 28.
that's just funny to think about. 2028 is realistic. It's like that is like 5 years for.
That is very far. That is
That's gonna
Where
be
are we
10
as a society that we say, oh yeah, 2028 sounds good?
Oh
Yep.
my god.
And imagine like how far things are gonna go. Like inflation's gonna be like GamePass is gonna be $30 a month.
I want to
think
point
I'll
out
get
Skyrim.
that.
I want you guys to know Skyrim came out when I was like what, like 9 years old.
Yeah, about 7 or 8 for me.
So this
So
game,
if you really want to,
this game
think
is gonna
about it,
come out.
Fallout 5 is gonna
Oh my
be
god.
fucking forever, bro.
Oh, Fallout 5. That dude, they announced that one too. Freaking Todd was like, "Yeah, after Elder Scrolls 6, we're gonna do Fallout 5." It's like, okay, man.
Yo, they
I
have
love you, man, but
they
like,
have the beginning
why are you
word in
saying
it, right?
this?
We're gonna be
Todd was like,
playing
like,
Fallout
what-
5 in our retirement homes.
Like, what? Like, I just feel like it's weird for a franchise as big as Fallout that you don't have other devs like working on their own
I was
Fallout.
gonna say, do Bethesda? Did they not have a B team?
Like, it's so no. They have 2 teams. They have one on Austin that is still working on 76. Just fucking abandon
I'm
it.
just
I
saying,
don't
like,
give a
they
shit.
do something else.
Didn't they
I know it
recently
has a
pass that
pop-
off? Didn't they recently
Nah,
pass
it's still
76 off? Like, no, I think they
I
did
don't.
less
I don't
than a
think
year
they
ago.
passed it off. I don't think it passed
Uh,
off, but they got support.
I don't
for
think
it.
so.
Yeah, they just got like a support studio to help them out with development. But even then, it's just
Honestly,
like
get
weird to think about. It's
Oblivion.
like, man, you got this whole other
Get
Get what?
Oblivion to help
Obsidian,
you
you
with.
mean?
Oblivion, my fucking dumbass is thinking of Elder Scrolls. Get Obsidian to help you with like older Fallout remakes or something to hold people over until Fallout 5.
Yeah, like where's just give me a Fallout 3 remake, you know, at least or at
Fallout
the
New
very
Vegas
least,
remake
like
that'd be
New
dope.
Vegas. Fallout New Vegas 2 was something that was like thrown around a bit. It's like, why isn't Obsidian just doing a Fallout New Vegas 2? Like, this IP is so expansive. There's so much lore, and Bethesda's like, nah, we'll handle Fallout. It's like, no, you can just give it to other devs. Like, what's stopping you? It's the same with Elder Scrolls. Even it's like, I love Bethesda games, but I'm also like, okay, you can. I think you could give someone Elder Scrolls. You created the lore of the world. Just have them go, hey, just read this and do that. And you can easily have them make, like, I don't know, Elder Scrolls Hammerfall. And it's like a spin-off game, at least to tide us over until Elder Scrolls 6. It's such a strange situation.
The thing I'm worried about with Elder Scrolls 6, especially after Skyrim, it's gonna be the expectations for this game, and it shares that with GTA 6. They're gonna be so fucking high.
I
It's gonna
don't.
be like, how do
want-
you match? I don't think you ever match them.
I pray that they don't try to go bigger is better with Elder Scrolls 6. I don't
That's
want them to
exactly what
go
they're
like,
gonna
oh, we're gonna procedurally generate this content.
I
I'm
don't
like,
know
no, do this handcrafted shit. I want my handcrafted, handcrafted. Even then, like they use some procedural generation, but like Skyrim, just do
This
that,
is like
but
this
a
is
little bit
like
bigger.
Starfield foreshadowing.
Yeah, I
No,
was gonna
no,
say
no, I don't-
Starfield is probably a good like reference point of
We'll
where
talk about
current
Starfield
Bethesda is right now, of what we can expect from future games.
Yay.
Okay, yeah, that's fun. All right, moving on. We'll talk about Starfield later. Don't worry. We got some smaller news stories. I guess just a really quick thing. Mario Direct, the Super Mario Brothers Wonder Direct happened. Which of us watched it live?
Yep, I watched it live.
Okay, I did.
I was sleeping.
I was working.
I was out.
I'm pretty sure. I think Bench did, but he's busy playing Starfield, so
watched
I
it.
don't. There you
No,
go.
I'm.
Okay.
If you want to,
You
what do you
spoke
want to
up.
ask?
Well, I mean, I just wanted to ask in general, like our overall thoughts on the direct. Like, I thought this was great.
Yeah, it was a good direct.
But yeah,
Yeah,
honestly, like I wasn't thinking of the game like at all before the direct, and then I watched the direct, and then they had the treehouse thing today, and now the game's just at the top of my mind. It'll be a 5 to 10 hour experience probably, but honestly, that's the kind of game I'm looking for right
That's all
now.
I
So
want.
I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, you're looking for right now. You gotta wait a month, buddy.
I mean,
But no,
Yeah, You got like 50 days.
I am so excited for this game, though. This is like,
Yeah.
I hate to say it. It's coming out the same day as Spider-Man 2. I think I'm
Don't
going to
say
play
it.
this game first. I think
I'll
I'm playing it
play this,
first.
yeah, because I can then give Spider-Man the. I don't want to play them both at once.
Yeah, same.
Well, the
If
reason
you-
why I'm gonna go Spider-Man first is because, at least with the way I scour Twitter and Reddit and all that, I'll have to play Spider-Man first. Because if I play Mario first, I'm gonna get story spoilers for Spider-Man. I don't care about story
Yeah, that's
spoilers for
true.
Mario Wonder.
I hate to
There's
tell it to
definitely
you, man, but Bowser goes crazy in this game.
There's definitely an 8th world though, right? They're hiding that.
Yeah, of course.
Oh yeah, there
Oh,
was a
yeah.
couple
And
of
then
it's
worlds
gonna be
that
the
were
secret
question marks
world.
and stuff.
No,
Yeah,
I
of
think
course.
we have the 8th world, and then we have a secret world on top of that.
Oh, that's what I meant to say. 8th world plus the secret world, but yeah.
Because they always have post game, and I don't know if y'all
Yeah.
saw the interview, but this game was pretty much just in the lab with no due date for years. And I think that's very cool. That's what they needed to do after the last new Super Mario Bros. Game, and it seems like they knew that.
When was the last 2D Mario?
You want to know?
2013, technically.
It's on the Wii U.
No,
Hey.
2012.
Oh, it's been a
Uh-oh.
decade?
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
2012
Yeah.
was the last one.
For some reason, I thought one came out in like.
Because there was
It
3D
was
World
like-
and Odyssey.
it
Those
was
were all
late
3D, but that's
2012.
2D.
Yeah, late
It was-
2012. So I think with 2013, technically, what's the technicality?
It was close.
Yeah.
no,
But yeah, this.
last one was new Super Mario Brothers U, which man.
I hope they have some other cool
Okay.
power-ups because the ones they showed looked great. Like, don't just have
Oh,
elephant. Let me be other animals.
You know, I just want to
Cheetah
be
or
an
something.
elephant.
I mean, being an elephant is pretty awesome, though.
Yeah,
Oh,
I wonder
God,
if they like. I don't know. I wonder how much they're gonna shove into this game because it seems like a lot. Because like every level has an individual Wonder Fruit thing that's unique. That's crazy.
What's their big fall game, right? I guess Mario RPG, but this is
Mario
bigger than
RPG.
that.
Well, this
Mario
will
RPG
also
and Mario
consider.
Wonder.
This will, yeah, Mario Wonder. They're
Don't care.
they're double dipping on the Mario for both of the
And I guess
holidays.
Mario
Pokemon
RPG is gonna
DLC,
be
which I keep
peak.
forgetting. Yeah, I mean, Nintendo's got a pretty fun holiday coming up ahead. I'm really excited to check out what they got. Mario Wonder. I
Yep.
mean, my thing is just like Spider-Man was in 2018. The last 2D Mario game was in 2012. Like that's why I want the Mario game first.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
for some reason I didn't
and
think it was
then-
that long ago.
yeah.
And then they have some cool online stuff. Although I did hope they kind of would have just full 3 like online, but I
Yeah,
guess
I don't
not.
understand. Still, does it have online co? Like they
It's
did
like
not
Dark
really
Souls.
Kind
specify
of
that well.
does. Like you can add.
It's
Well,
Dark
there's the
Souls.
racing thing, but I don't know about just
Yo,
playing a
let's
level together.
go! Dark Souls is back, baby.
Yeah,
I
you
don't- it's-
literally like you have
like-
ghosts and stuff.
Oh yeah, I saw the ghosts and stuff, but I thought it would be like, oh, and also you could play through these levels with your friends. Then like you kind of can with the
You kind of
races.
can. It looks like.
What is so difficult with Nintendo to say, oh yeah, and also you could just play the level with your friends on the internet? Like, what, are they scared? Like, I don't get it. Jay, you had something to say, right?
Oh yeah, it was just with like this is just way more exciting because all the new Super Mario Bros. Games like had the exact same like style, right? Like from DS all the way up until Wii U, and now they went back on the drawing board. They're trying this style out, and like I guess if you want to count it, like the last 2D Mario game that we had was Mario Maker, but even that was just
That
creative.
doesn't count.
Yeah.
No, I will not accept that. I always hear people say like, "Oh, our last 2D Mario game was Super Mario Maker 2." No, they made the fucking. We made the levels for them. I am not counting that.
Yeah.
And then
Like, yeah,
Um,
the best part. I just want to say the best part of Mario Maker were the Nintendo created levels. I didn't want to fucking play a level made by a 3-year-old over in Kansas. All right, let me play levels made by Miyamoto himself, which I know he doesn't actually make the levels, but I'm imagining he does.
do y'all think they have any
Yeah,
other
no.
characters as well? I think that's the main roster, but if they have like post game like a
I mean,
Rosalina.
we got more than enough characters. Nah, there's no Rosalina. I mean, dude, I would kill for a Rosalina, but like, I think this is gonna be like our main roster. I mean, there's
You don't
quite a
think,
lot of
like-
characters. Like,
You don't think post game
I mean,
you
I
get
don't-
like one character?
Nah.
I hope, but I don't think so. I feel like knowing Nintendo, I feel like they would have revealed it by now.
No, I think we could have one post game character.
It'll be like Dungeons in Tears of the Kingdom, where nobody knew they were going to be in the game, and then Nintendo just said it themselves like a day before release.
The
So you
badges
say,
are
"Oh yeah,
very cool.
Rosalina's in the game." Yeah, badges are
The
awesome.
badges
And
seem
just in
very
general,
cool.
like game sim. Yeah,
Has so
badges are
much
sick.
identity.
There's gonna be so much fun in this game. Like I'm gonna play the hell out of it. Though if you get that badge that like makes you jump in the lava and you're like safe, you're not a real gamer. That's all I'm saying. You're not playing the game right.
Yeah.
Wolf
But yeah.
calling you out.
Yeah, no, 100%. I'm gonna call you out. If you do that, you're a fake gamer. Did anyone else have any thoughts on Mario Wonder?
It will be a Game of the Year nominee.
100%.
Wouldn't
Let's
go
do it.
that far. 2D stigma and everything.
Yeah, that's true. There is actually a real 2D stigma. I hope it gets in. Moving on. This is gonna be something Moon we're gonna talk about a lot. Cerebi tweeted this out. Cerebi update: a live-action series based on Pokemon is to air in Japan from October 19th. Follows the story of a young woman who becomes enamored with Pokemon after receiving Pokemon Red from her mother. I mean, just real quick, Moon, you got any thoughts on this?
Not really. I mean, I do think it's kind of fascinating. That's like, yeah, it's like we can't make anything Pokemon in the Pokemon world related because that would require CGI and a bunch of other stuff, or make it animated, which is all costly. So let's make a really cheap, real world version of all of our fans and be like, here's a person who is just like obsessed with Pokemon. Now they didn't specify, is it the video games? Is it the card game? Is like what is it about? Like they're just enamored with Pokemon. Are we gonna see like just the life of a person who just like their house is just decked ceiling to floor with just Pokemon merch, like a million plushies,
just like me for real.
I know. It's like it's gonna identify with all the Pokemon fans. So I don't know. I mean, I'll keep an eye on it because it seems kind of neat, and I'm sure some website out there will allow me to watch it legally.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, it's just kind of a neat. Like, it is interesting that Pokemon has been diversifying itself in the other mediums. Like we have that stop motion animated series of Pokemon coming to Netflix, I think either later this year or early next year, that Pokemon Concierge. So it's cool to see Pokemon. I guess after the success of Detective Pikachu, they were like, okay, yeah, let's do some other cool anime stuff because I guess our fans like seeing the world. But now we have this series. I was like, it's not the Pokemon world, it's our world. But I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this. But it's just neat in general that they are expanding their wings because they didn't do anything with Pokemon for like the longest time. It was just like the games and the anime. And there you go.
And don't forget the Detective Pikachu movie. That was like, I guess, the last live action thing we got from Pokemon.
That's what I was saying. I think after the success of Detective Pikachu, they finally got like the courage to do other stuff, because then we started getting all this new animated stuff, the Pokemon Wings, Evolution, the Hisuian saga. These now this little short series they just put on their YouTube, that Path to the Peak series, which is about the trading card game. So I think the success, the moderate success of Detective Pikachu gave them the courage to be like, okay, let's start doing all this other cool other media stuff.
Well, there you go. Keep a lookout on it. Moving on, Moon, this is also a story for you because I need some help here. Benji Sales had this over on Twitter. Huge news for the video game industry as voice performance capture actors may strike. SAG-AFTRA board voted I'm so sorry. Unanimously to send strike authorization to members. Affected companies include Activision, EA, Epic, Take-Two, Insomniac, WB Games, plus more. Now, I'm going to need you to really explain this to me in the simplest of terms, Moon, because I'm having trouble figuring this whole thing out.
So the thing was, and it's actually kind of funny, it's relevant because I was just in an acting class last week and the strike came up, and the strike was only for on-camera actors. So video game work, anime work, pretty much any kind of like just voiceover work was not affected by the strike, because they are like in two completely different unions. But now that seems to be changing, because now the video game industry looks like it may be striking to once again, though I think it's less about wages. I mean, it could be. I haven't really heard too much about video game wages being terrible. It's usually either on screen or anime wages that are absolutely dog crap. What I think this is most likely about is AI. It's going to be about protecting all these companies, as we saw with Smite a couple weeks ago. these companies are looking to cut corners anywhere they can, and I think voice acting and art are like the first on the chopping block. Like, hey, there's all this new emerging AI technology coming out, and we can do this for like a quarter of the cost of hiring people. So I think the strike, I mean, I haven't seen anything about like why are we striking. It just says, yeah, the voice actors who do video games and also the performance capture actors. So all of your games that do performance capture, like God of War and all that, all those actors, because a lot of them, most capture artists are not regular like on-screen actors. Most of the time they're voice actors who are just doing a bit more. Sometimes they have like on-camera experience because there's like overlap, but so the fact that they're combining both video game and performance capture into the same strike means it's probably, like I said, it's probably AI, but they're gonna throw in wages. They're probably gonna throw in like extra protections about copyright and all that, because we're now getting into the age where voices and just the general print of a performance needs to be copyrighted, like it belongs to the actor, or at least it not so much so that the company themselves can say, hey, there's Chris Judge who did Kratos. We got him doing this performance during God of War and God of War Ragnarok. You know, God of War 3, we're not going to need him again. We already got all this performance out of him. We got his voice recorded. Let's just use AI to just make God of War 3, save on all the costs. We don't have to rent out the studio. We don't have to hire him again. I do think it's mainly just a protection thing for not only the actor, but just the industry as a whole. I think that's what, and as they said, the companies affected, these are all the big players, like who are doing like these highly advanced games. Because actually, I just thought of that. It's also extras. Look at all the look at all the companies. These are all companies that do really big games that have NPCs and whatnot who do just like a bunch of bit lines, like, did you see what happened over there? And stuff like that. So they don't want to put a bunch of voice actors out of business to come in and just record, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines and then just use AI to take those words and then just morph them into other words. Because once you get a couple lines recorded, you can just synthesize that voice into a million different things. That's what you see on YouTube, is you see all these video game characters, TV characters, because they've said so many lines, they feed that into the AI, and then you can make the AI spout whatever words you want in that character's voice. So it's probably, like I said, to protect them from the AI from being replaced. And I know I've repeated myself a lot, but that's just my thought process. And the other thing that I think is a big thing to mention is this will probably not be as long as the current strike, because they will fold. Like every person who I've seen mention this already says these companies will fold faster than any of the studios in Hollywood. So if they do strike, it's not going to last long, because it's just they can't get their work. They don't have, video game companies don't have like the rerun availability that television movies do. So they can't just stick like, here's an old game again to satisfy. They need to get these games done. Otherwise, they're going to put all their games on hold and work on a bunch of silent games that don't need voice actors or performance capture. So yeah, sorry about the rambling, but
that's what I asked you to do, and you delivered. Thank you.
I know I repeated myself a lot.
Oh
Hey,
no,
you,
don't worry about it.
you delivered a great NPC line. Like you can do the NPC voice lines, bro.
Hire me.
Yeah, or go the TikTok route, because that's what's been trending.
No, I am a TikTok NPC. No.
Honestly, like a silent video game, I think a lot of devs are going to start doing that, because then you'll get the reviews going, wow, it's so artsy.
We're going to go back to text JRPGs.
Dude, honestly, that's what I want. That's what I want.
Please no.
I'm tired of voice acting. Moving
It's actually
on.
kind of funny because there's that game coming out in October called The Silent Hope, where there is no talking. That's like the whole point of the game.
Really good pixel RPG that just came out that has no voice acting in it.
All right,
Fusion.
well,
if it had voice acting, it'd be even better.
Yeah.
Like that's
we'll
just
talk
my.
about that.
I'm just saying,
Go
like
ahead.
games in general. Like for me personally, like you put voice acting in your game, and it's just better experience 99% of the time.
Oh no, no. I see. The thing is like I conventionally agree, but also sometimes my brain is like I have an easier time following a story if there's no voices and I could just like kind of go read the story at my own pace. Because sometimes those voice actors deliver those lines really slowly, and I'm like, okay, I already read the line. I could just skip this, right?
You're talking about Death Stranding.
No, Death Stranding is okay. Death
No.
Stranding is okay.
Which is actually
Kojima's
really funny
allowed.
that you mentioned that. Is during a lot of the voice acting classes that I do, depending on the field or if it's just like an overall one, there is like almost a technique to video game voice acting to where they encourage you to actually be slower. Whereas in something like an anime, you have to do it a lot faster.
Yeah, that's my problem. Is that sometimes like I'll play a game and they're like, I went to the shower. And I'm like, okay, I read the line. Okay, why are you so dramatic about this?
It's suspenseful, dude.
I'm like, I'm not suspense. Like, I don't know. All right, well, moving on. I was gonna do a really cool segue with speaking. We're gonna talk more about that Pixel game and what we've been playing, but the moment's already gone. So we're
It
gonna.
was my fault. Okay.
Yeah, that's okay, Fusion. It's okay. We talked about showers. Moving on. We finished everything in relation to the news. Like I said, slow news week. Not a lot of.
Yeah, look at this. We're
big
actually
tech
under
news.
an hour right now.
Well,
Oh, that's gonna go up because we're gonna talk about what we've been playing. So right now, me, Dark, Bench, and Jat are all playing Starfield. I think we should talk about that first and foremost, as that's probably our biggest. The biggest news topic is honestly just Starfield releasing after 5 years since the logo reveal. Still think about that. I'm gonna
We
let
wanna. Well, do we want to all
I'm
say how much we put into the game to kind of
I mean, I'll
gauge
just say
where we're
right off
at?
the bat, I'm around like 10 hours.
I'm
I didn't
around
get as
like
much
12 or
time as I thought.
13.
I'm like 15, 20
Yeah,
hours in.
I'm not that long. I think I'm only about like 5 or 6 hours.
Yeah, I guess I'll let you guys talk about Starfield first. I want to go last on this game.
You're really hyping
Okay.
yourself up here, Wolf.
No, I want to let you guys talk first. That's why.
I don't know.
someone say
You've been like
something.
taunting us all day.
Someone talk us about
I'm
Starfield.
about to start talking about Starfield.
Yeah,
Alright, Benj,
okay.
you can go first.
Listen.
I am. Starfield is not what I expected it to be. It's what I expected it to be, but also not what I expected it to be. I think all the quests and everything are some of like the greatest I've played in recent memory, but also like exploration, which I thought would be a big part, honestly isn't. I haven't like I've gone to big cities, gotten quests. It kind of feels linear in that aspect, and I'm not complaining because I'm really enjoying with it. But I do think they marketed it as a big exploration thing when it's really not. So I want to preface that, but my like 12 hours in, I've come across like hearing stuff on the street, and then you go follow it up. It dives into like an hour and a half, 2 hour quest train. It's like not even related to a faction that you're just kind of doing, and they're really well written. The characters are compelling, and they're like not even side characters. They're like the lowest like of importance. And then I've recently dived into Ship Creator, which I think I'm going to be spending hours in when I get money. I have hardly touched the main story. I've been just doing tons of side content. And so far, I'm really loving the game.
Dark, how about you? Okay, how about you, Jet, then? Because Dark quit the podcast,
I
apparently.
thought you said Jet. That's why I was like,
yeah,
oh,
no.
I didn't hear you. Hey, Jet, go. I was like, oh, what the fuck?
Yeah, let Jack go first. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's okay, Dark. Your silence on the matter speaks volumes. I'm kidding. So
Oh
I
no.
think yeah, I think that this game it's actually like visually I really like how it looks. Like the like when you land into the planets, like looking at the cities, even the skies, like they did a really good job. And with the
Lighting.
character the character customization, I really like the options they gave, and yeah, it's a fun Bethesda RPG. I've played a little bit of Skyrim and Fallout before, so this feels very similar. Like even down to the death animations that look a bit goofy.
Hey, you
But
know
yeah,
that's what gives it that Bethesda charm is those goofy ass death animations.
exactly. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. Well, what do you think, Dark?
So I'm probably the farthest inside the story here. I'm not sure about Wolf, but I'm like only 2 or so missions away from
You're
completing the
definitely
main
farther than
story.
me.
Okay, yeah.
You're definitely farther than me.
The best way to describe this game is as if Skyrim and Fallout 4 had a baby. It's literally what it is. To me, this is exactly what I expected. And I wasn't expecting anything crazy. I was just expecting a really solid Bethesda game in space. It's been incredibly polished. There's nothing to really complain about bug-wise that's been like irritating or anything. The main quest is, in my opinion, the best that I've seen from a Bethesda RPG like this. And that does say a lot. Because some of the, not only like the story, but the level design and like how they set up these missions, you're doing some really cool and unique things that I wasn't really expecting whatsoever. But besides that, I think it's an incredibly solid title that people will be loving for years to come. Once they get the hang of it, there's a little bit of a learning curve to it in some aspects, especially like the shipbuilding. But besides that, it's incredible. What about you, Wolf?
Oh yes, what about me? All right. So a little story time. Skyrim is my second favorite game of all time. Fallout 4, I am an avid defender of. Fallout 3 is another one of my favorite games. I am a huge Bethesda simp. I bought my Xbox Series X for Starfield because I was massively anticipating it, and it was easily the game like I was the most anticipated for this year, especially after the Starfield Direct. So I load up the game after like trying like 15 times because it would not load up for me some reason. But I loaded up the game eventually, and I did character creator, wrote a whole backstory for my character, had a lot of fun there. And then I played the game. Couple hours, I was like, okay, not feeling it yet, but you know, early game is usually this way. 5 hours in, man, still not feeling it. Okay, that's weird. I should feel it by now, but hey, you know what? Maybe I'm still early game. After 10 hours of playing most of today, I can officially say I am disappointed in Starfield. I don't think it's a bad game, but it is far, far from what I expected it to be. This is not the game I wanted from Bethesda. It is expansive. It is a large game to its detriment. These worlds are not fun to explore. And that is the biggest detriment that a Bethesda game can have. I always think about in Skyrim, if you know the Skyrim map, you'll understand. When I went from Whiterun to Morthal, and I thought to myself, it's just going to be a quick trip. And that was like 5 different play sessions just getting distracted of things along the way. Starfield does not want you to do that. Starfield wants you to fast travel. It just wants you to fast travel directly to the location you're meant to go for the quest. And that is not what I want to do in a Bethesda game. I kept hearing from a lot of people who played the game to say the best way to play this game is to mainline the story. That is not what I want to fucking do from a Bethesda game. I want to mess around with the side quests. And I'm excited how Bench says apparently he had some fun with the quest. That's great. I just think exploration is such a major reason of why I love these games. And the exploration fucking sucks in this game. I don't like exploring in this game. There's no real vehicles. There's nothing to do except just running on empty planets for like 20 minutes until you find, oh, cool, an outpost. And it's the same fucking outpost over and over again with the same bullshit enemies, with the same fucking items, because procedurally generated bullshit is just the way the games industry is going now. So that's exciting. I lose a lot of the handcrafted fun dungeons that I got from Skyrim, these fun stories that I used to tell my friends. Now I'm just going to tell them, oh, hey, did you do that quest? Yeah, I did that quest. That was a cool quest. There's not really a story there. It's just a quest line that has your usual. In general, this game just loses so much from an exploration. And don't get me started on this fucking UI. This UI is dog shit. Everything is so fucking slow. Why does it take me an eternity just to switch weapons in the menu? Why does it take me an eternity just to like heal up using some of the food? It was so instant and quick in Skyrim and Fallout 4. And in this game, for some reason, everything just wants to go at a snail's pace. Why are the maps so dog shit? Can you please explain to me why these maps are some of the worst I have ever seen in an open world game? Why is everything about this game just does not feel Bethesda? doesn't feel like the Bethesda I love. It feels like they're going in a new direction. And hey, people are enjoying it. I am so happy for them. And I still think there's a lot of good things about it. I do think that the story is interesting, and I want to see a lot of these side quests that people are talking about, these faction quests. But playing the game makes me so miserable sometimes that I don't even know if I'm even going to beat it, which is fucking insane to me, because I have played through Skyrim and Fallout 4 more times than any one person should. And just this game has been one of the biggest disappointments a game has done for me. And I don't even think the game is bad, but it is not what I wanted from a Bethesda game. And that's the thing that hurts me most of all, is that I know it's a good game, but it's not a game for me, and that should not be the case for a Bethesda game. That's a lot of what I'll say. I know I rambled for a bit.
You're so
I actually want
brave.
to back Wolf off on the exploration, because this game is very open, yet it's also very, very linear in the way you, even with side content. Like I was also going in expecting like the exploration like from Skyrim, not to the degree Wolf was. And so when it's like there's no reason to explore in this game. Like you're gonna go find the quests in the cities, you're gonna go do the quests, that you're gonna go where the quests are. You're not going out to explore. And I know that was something I was looking forward to, but for Wolf it must have been something very big, because I've gotten over that and I'm playing the game how the game wants to be played and not holding that against it. But also for Wolf, it's completely valid, because I completely understand, because the game is, I'd honestly say it's linear. So
That is just insane to me. Like, no, I 100% agree with you, Manish, by the way. Thank you for backing me up. But that is insane to me. Saying to a Bethesda game, it is linear, and you're right. It's like, what the fuck is this company on? I don't know where in what story you say 1,000 planets and said that was a good idea. Well, it's going to be my biggest fear going into this game was the procedurally generated content. But I was like, you know what? They'll figure it out. They didn't figure it out. They never proved to me. The procedurally generated content fucking sucks. It is just the same bullshit over and over, and I am 10 hours in. 10 hours in, and it's the same bullshit. How am I going to feel 70 hours in? I want to do these handcrafted quests because that's the actual handcrafted stuff. But for the love of God, Bethesda, do not pull this bullshit with Elder Scrolls 6. Do not pull this bullshit with Fallout 5. Nobody fucking likes procedurally generated content unless you're something like No Man's Sky, where there are enough systems on top of it to actually be an additive experience. Procedurally generated content in this game like this does not work, because I don't want to fucking explore and get the same bullshit that I've been getting for 5 hours, and let alone 50 hours. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. There's one thing I wanted to add that I find kind of weird. Okay, so like, yes, you can travel to space in space, but you can't travel to a planet directly, which is so weird. It's like, oh, point that you have to go to. Cool. Can I directly go to it? Nope. You have to go to your map, teleport to it.
Why so many menus? So many menus just doing the same bullshit. Here's the thing that actually frustrated me was I got to New Atlantis. I'm like, let's go. I'm ready to explore. And I saw the tutorial message. You can fast travel to this location to get to your main quest. Fast travel. I just fucking got here. Why am I fast traveling? Oh my god.
I have a question for you,
Okay.
Wolf.
Yeah,
We've seen from, I think we've seen from countless people coming in talking about Starfield that the more you put in, the more it gives. Do you think any of that can be redeeming for you? Because they're saying in that first 10, 15 hours is the struggle. And then once you get past that 20, 30, 40, 50 plus is whenever it really starts to click.
So yeah, here's the thing. I do definitely like believe when people say that. I'm not going to say like, oh, they're lying. I definitely believe that like after that hump, it will get better. I'm going to keep playing it. Like because I'm going to find out what is good about this story and everything. But for one, 15 hours of bad stuff to get to the good stuff is pretty dumb. I'll just say that right now. But I also think, just in general, I don't think my opinion on the procedurally generated content is going to change 50 hours.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. I don't think the exploration is going to get somehow better.
You're not going to a planet just to go to a planet. You're going to a planet because you know you have to do something there, which means it's linear with like kind of open areas that you're not.
Be the case. Like I was so excited. I had a moment where I was going to the moon. I'm like, let's go. I'm going to the moon. There's gonna be a lot of cool shit here. I walked and I turned on the scanner and it's like, oh, there's an outpost. Okay, let me do the outpost. Okay, it's the same outpost that I've done for every other area, but that's fine. I start walking more. Oh, okay, it's another outpost. Oh, more pirates. Okay, let me go to another outpost. Oh, look, another outpost. More pirates. Nothing fucking changes. It's just a bunch of outposts doing the same bullshit. I don't get it. It's one of those things where I thought to myself, it's like, maybe I've grown out of Bethesda games. But then I thought about it, it's like, no, Skyrim does not have this thing. Skyrim has these handcrafted dungeons, and everyone's gonna say in the comments like, "Oh, but they all look the same." It's like, yes, they do visually look the same, but there's actual stories there. I always think about in the Morrowind DLC, or not the Morrowind, the Dragonborn DLC, where you go into this random, like, unassuming mine, and then eventually it leads to this giant quest line where eventually you get this sword that shoots fire, like red laser beams or some shit. And then you fight a dragon priest at the end. And I'm like, that is a story. That is a story I want to tell my friends about. That is the interesting stuff that I stumble upon. I remember seeing a werewolf fighting a dude with a bow. And I'm like, okay, let me go help this dude with the bow. And then the dude with the bow started attacking me. And I'm like, what the fuck happened here? And that's a fun story. I don't get these with Starfield. I don't think this is going to happen. I was just so sick. I'm so sad. That's all I am. I'm sad.
You're making me
I'm very
sad.
sad. I'm extremely disappointed. I really hope that my experience changes.
So,
Hopefully,
question then. So a quick question then. So the word going around is you should, like, the proper way to play this is to mainline the regular campaign first, and then do all of your other stuff in New Game Plus. Now, granted, I don't think we know too much about what is unlocked or available to do in New Game Plus, but maybe whatever it is will make the other side stuff more interesting once you have whatever you have in New Game Plus.
People are
Without
saying
going to
that and
spoilers,
refusing to do it.
New Game Plus in this game is one of the most unique and insane ideas I've ever seen. Like, I know what it is already because the game kind of like plainly shows you it in your face when you play into the main story. Like, this is what it is. But I still have yet to do it myself. But the idea of what it is incredible, and I can't really go into it because there's massive spoilers for the story. If it hits, it's gonna be something really special.
Here's the thing. I think that's fair. I'm interested in seeing what New Game Plus is all about. But my viewpoint is, I think, again, I'm going to think back to Skyrim. Again, as you can tell, I really like Skyrim. But remember when you left Helgen, went through that whole like dungeon, and you exited that cave, and you saw this giant world. They didn't say, fast travel to Riverwood. They said, oh yeah, go to Riverwood with like Rayloff if you want to, but check out the world. You can go to Bleak Falls Barrow. You can go to this bandit camp. You can go to these standing stones. You can say fuck it and just run all the way to Morthal if you really wanted to, or Dawnstar, or anywhere on the map. All you can do, whatever the fuck you want. You want to know they're like exiting the cave, exiting the vault moment in this game? You literally go outside and it's really bright outside. But it's not like you can go out on the planet. Well, no, you got to finish this tutorial first. It's like, what is this? This is not Bethesda. This is not my Bethesda. It's
yeah, that's not something I want
ridiculous.
to preface. The problem that you're having is very much for people who came in with the expectation this is going to be like their previous RPGs. It is very much not the case. If you have not played their previous games and you try this, you will not have these issues.
That's not the fault of you. That's the fault. Because they also marketed
the problem.
it that way. No,
that's what I was going to say. Like, as someone who I've never played a Bethesda RPG, I've like barely played Skyrim back in the day. I played it like 10 hours like a decade ago. Like, I played it, but I haven't like. I was hoping for these moments in Starfield, which I don't have the game yet, but it's kind of disappointing to hear that like I've always heard great things about Bethesda's like the open world and just exploring is going off and doing things, and that's what I fully wanted in Starfield. I was like, I want a space game where I can just fully explore, like a No Man's Sky, but a better narrative. Blah blah blah.
You are not getting that.
And I seem like I'm not getting that, and that's kind of disappointing to hear. I'm still very excited, but like you're giving me everything I don't want to hear.
You're getting
the quest of my life with it.
That's the thing. You are getting the quest line. I'm on the lower end. I should specify. So maybe you'll play and get that good exploration. I expect you to get it. Honestly, if this is your first Bethesda game, like I think you'll actually have a much easier time than someone who's a Bethesda veteran with me. But even then, it's just I feel like exploration is such a major reason of why I love these games, and seeing how constricted it is in this game, I feel like I will still enjoy those quest lines. I feel like I will love these faction quests. The
Do you
main
plan to do
story
all
is
the
apparently amazing.
factions quests?
I'm sorry, Bench?
Do you plan to do all the faction quests?
I'm gonna try to do everything I can. I mean, this is still like I'm gonna try to do as much as possible with this
Like,
game.
I think me and you are also like, I don't plan to do what people are saying and mainline the story. If I want to go to New Game Plus after the game's done and continue, sure, but I'm getting everything done before I roll credits.
It just feels weird that like I'm basically going, I might as well do the main story because I have nothing else to do, and it's like that is a ridiculous thing to say with a Bethesda game that I have nothing else to do.
Also, maybe I'm the only one that finds it weird that like you're telling fans like our game doesn't. It's a good game, but I feel like people are saying this game doesn't get good until you beat it and go to New Game Plus. Like if someone tells me like
I don't know about that.
run through that game and then get New Game Plus and then explore it, that does
Like,
not make me want to finish this
Here-
game.
Like why? Like hearing the best way to play this game is to mainline it. It's like what? I don't think I would ever say that about any other RPG.
Like I was just saying, open world RPG, that's the worst thing you could tell me.
Exactly, yeah.
We're getting into like dangerous territories of like Persona 5. 80 hours in, the game gets really good.
Yeah, it's all
That
that
game was
thing
at
where
hour one.
I haven't seen I haven't seen that extreme, but we have seen where it's like it's a bit like it could be a very slow 15 to 20 hours, which like I can understand. Like a lot of games have that issue, but it's also like you can't write people off for dropping the game if they didn't enjoy those first 15 hours. If
Oh,
you put
yeah, of
15
course.
hours in a video game and you don't like it, like I've seen people on Twitter, which Twitter sucks, so you're gonna get it. But I've seen people on Twitter get criticized for like they're like I put 15, 20 hours in Starfield and it just couldn't click to me. And people are like, if you would have just put in another 10, you would have really got there. It's like your
like,
game shouldn't take
no.
30 hours to get good. If your game is good, it's good.
It's a ridiculous notion to say like it gets good after 15 hours. Like I understand the viewpoint of like the beginning is slow. You'll eventually start to enjoy it as you go on. I think that's fair enough to say, but like to say like oh it doesn't get good until 15 hours. I'm like is it good? Like how good is it at that point? Like I'm taking 15
Yeah.
hours of my life, and I'm the weird person. I like Bethesda games enough to where I will still play this game as
I'm
much as
still really
possible.
excited for everything that's worth. Like
Yeah, of
I
course.
still am going to play this
Yeah.
video game.
Yeah, I got rid of the notion pretty early on that I was gonna just hop on a random planet and explore, because that's not what this game is, even though they told us that's what this game is.
That's
So-
what they told us.
Can't have
I
it
think-
lying, never
Yeah.
happens.
Wolf
I-
is just
I- I will say the combat is really good. I'm enjoying the combat a lot.
I was gonna ask about the combat real quick because the
It's
combat was
really
one thing
fun.
that like, and that very first like debut, I thought the gunplay looked really bad, and then on the second like
Oh,
the
yeah.
deep dive, it looked better. So do the guns actually feel good now?
Yeah, they
they
feel
feel
good.
good.
Like not like Titanfall 2, Doom 2016, but like it's like pretty good for a Bethesda game, especially. It's like slightly better than Fallout 4, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was curious how much I'll get into it. If like the combat's good and and it does seem to be geared towards a more linear system, that maybe I can kind of get into it.
If you
So
mainline
basically-
this game, you'll probably love it.
Yeah, so it'll
So
be
that's the
interesting to
thing
see
with,
once I
like-
start up next week.
For people like me, so the way that I play my games most of the time is that I like to do the main story just to get it out the way, and then I go do all the side content. That's how I always play my games for the most part, depending on the game. And for me, with that type of mindset and playstyle, this game is absolutely phenomenal. I
was about
have
to
done
say,
side quests and exploring in my own free time that's not tied to the main, and I found some really cool things. So like, it's very like playstyle dependent. It feels like.
yeah, and I
put
feel like that's
90
such a
hours. I put 90
Go ahead,
hours into
Bench.
Zelda before I even thought about rolling credits, so I'm not gonna roll credits like they're telling me to do, because
yeah. No,
I might want to be done whenever I finish.
and I think that's the perfect example is Zelda. I feel like I could have just not done a single temple for 50 hours and had the time of my life with that game. With this game, if I didn't do the main story, I've been bored out of my mind. It's like, what the fuck am I doing even? And it's ridiculous. Like the notion of why I fell in love with Skyrim and why it's my second favorite game of all time was that I could literally just fuck off and do whatever I want. That was so mind-blowing for me as a kid. Realizing that this game didn't force me along a line and said, you can go whatever you want to do, there's going to be something out there for you. Starfield does not respect that notion. It says like, you could do whatever you want, want, but it's not going to be very good. You should do this thing instead. And I fucking hate it. And I still can't get over how bad the UI is. I feel like I didn't hone in on that enough. But why is everything so goddamn slow in this game?
To Starfield's defense, this game, it really isn't Skyrim. It's very much his own thing. But
Which is
getting into the UI, yeah, this look, they need something like a Pip-Boy or something, because this UI is crazy. The amount of menus you go out in this game.
Dude, why is it so complex? You know how simple it was to do things in Fallout 4? Just click, 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 click. Everything is so fast.
So very
snappy,
slight
instant.
spoilers.
And this game's
They
like,
give you a,
"Ooh."
this is very slight spoilers, like very early. They give you a watch in the game. And I'm thinking, oh, this is gonna be like the Pip-Boy. It is
Nope.
not. It
It's
should have been.
a
It's not.
glorified menu button. What? Like, okay, this is the most insane thing to me. To open the menu, you know, like save, load, and stuff, I have to press pause, which opens the like normal menu, and then press pause again, which immediately is like, okay, well that's weird. But then it's like, it's a weird thing where if you open the map, it's gonna show you the like Earth or like the globe of whatever planet you're on, and it's like, okay, let me exit the map. And the way I exit maps in games is, okay, I'm gonna press like B because it's the Xbox controller. If you do that, it's just like,
or hold it.
yeah, press B. You gotta go back to the solar system, and then you gotta go to the universe map. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Just let me
And
get
this
back
is-
into the normal menu.
I'm already mad.
This is a
I'm
me.
just thinking
This
about it.
is,
Actually.
this is a me thing. But I like seeing cool world maps in video games. They're always so cool, and that's just not this game.
Oh yeah, it's the most
Like, not even
boring,
city
and, like
Have
flat.
cool world maps.
It's flat. It is literally a flat map, and I'm like, what is this? But that's it. We gotta talk about this. And so I hope I didn't like make anyone depressed. I definitely
No, I think it was
on
good.
the.
No, I think I'm more
extremes.
interested.
Oh,
I
I'm
agree
glad
with-
you are. I go ahead, Bench.
I agree with a lot of your points. I just kind of shifted those expectations away, but you have no reason not to. So we're just coming at it from different
Yeah,
points of view.
No, I
Yeah,
think honestly, all
I
points on this game are
disagree with
valid.
majority of your points, but like
Oh,
I'm
you're
not.
calling me stupid?
Everyone.
No, I'm kidding.
No, I'm not
I'm
saying
kidding.
you fucking asshole. I mean, you want me to? But
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
no, but it's very much a point of view. This is very hit or miss for people. If you're like me, you like playing games in that certain type of way, or you haven't played previous Bethesda titles, this might be for you. If not, you know, it's not a bad game. You play through the story. You should get a decent story out of it. I can give you that. It's not like it's
Yeah,
like a waste of money or anything.
Exactly, and it's absolutely, I think, worth trying, like either way, just because it's on Game Pass, right? Like, so yeah,
You might as
it's
well
worth
try
a
it.
go.
You might as well try it. Yeah.
Not for
Yeah,
a
this
dollar.
is a
though.
game to try. Not for a dollar.
Can't try for a dollar anymore. That is sad.
Yeah, I guess
For you.
just to like bookend.
I know for me still.
So
Just to
I just want to
bookend
interrupt
this
before we move on to
Alright,
the other
go ahead.
people who are not playing Starfield. A little bit breaking news. I'm still trying to get a full source on it, but it looks like Nate the Hate has alluded to another Nintendo Direct for this month of September.
Oh god.
What? A direct in September? Like
Yeah.
every fucking year?
Yeah, I know. So
Yeah,
exciting.
this is not surprising at all.
But
I-
but what kind of direct? Like, this could be a partner showcase, right?
It could be.
Nah,
man.
I think it's gonna be a normal direct.
Probably-
It's been a normal direct every year.
I still don't know who this dude is. Everyone always brings his name up, and I don't know who.
He usually has his shit together.
Nintendo leaker, yeah.
Oh,
He
okay.
knows his stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
So
I
should
still
we
don't
move
know
on to
where
the
he
other
said
games?
it. People are just saying.
yeah. But I guess to go back to Starfield, just to bookend this conversation, we've been talking long enough about Starfield. Biggest game of the year, probably, or one of the biggest years. One of the biggest games of one of the biggest years. There you go. I guess you can. I definitely completely understand all the viewpoints on this game. I understand Bench's viewpoint, Dark's, Jats. Like everyone's viewpoints on this game are completely valid, and I think divisive games are fun to talk about. You know, I think about maybe the last like truly divisive game to this level was probably Last of Us Part 2, and that wasn't a fun divisive. That was just an annoying divisive. But in the case of this game, like I think there's a lot of fun conversations that are going to stem from this game, and you know, like right here, I think we had a really good conversation. I just think I'm disappointed, but don't let that cloud your judgment and say, you know what, never mind. Like I'm not gonna play it. Like, no, please try this game. It's worth at least trying. It's on Game Pass. Great deal. And if you don't like Starfield, well, you bought a Game Pass for a month. Just go play through the Halo games. You know, they're pretty good games. I'm gonna say.
Just
But yeah.
don't think about Cortana and you'll love the Halo games.
Stop hating on Cortana.
We're not
Really,
gonna
the
start
only
it.
person I know
We're
that
not starting
hates
this.
Cortana-
No. We're not doing this debate. We're not doing this debate.
We're gonna keep this episode short. We're not gonna go on this debate now.
I love
Alright.
Cortana.
Yeah,
And
right.
moving on,
fucking lie.
real quick, I'll talk about the other game I've been playing. Bench also played this. This is, I think, me and Bench are literally, we have the exact same games.
Dude, we twins.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we both beat it.
We beat Bench.
We beat Bench, yes.
Oh.
Pretty
We
daily
beat-
we
There you
beat Bench.
We beat Armored Core 6. And I gotta say, I'll just start. This game is fucking phenomenal. This is easily one of my front runners for Game of the Year, at least like in my top 5 for this year. This is a must-play game if you're a fan of mechs. Hell, if you're a fan of like FromSoft games, I will definitely recommend this game. Like, it is hard. It has some crazy moments, but the spectacle of everything is so much fun. I was not like in love with it at first, but then as I played more and more, this is a game I highly recommend to anyone who wants to play it. And Moon also has been playing it too. He hasn't beaten it though.
I'm a slow
Go ahead,
Can we
Bench.
talk?
Yeah, go ahead.
This was like just a random hit for me in the year. It's one of the best games I've played this year. I bought it kind of like with FOMO and beat it in like less than a week, which was a good feeling. And all the bosses are so good. The combat, just the mech combat is so it's such a satisfying loop. I loved the mission structure. I thought the story was actually it was surface level, but also a little deeper to the point where I enjoyed what I got out of it, but I was still playing mainly for the gameplay. And then the bosses are so good. Special highlight to Chapter 4. What a badass boss. Like, this game was just such a fun time. Easily one of
That
the best
Chapter
games
4
I've played
boss.
this year.
That Chapter 4 boss, man, that was a spiritual journey. Such an incredible fight. Moon, you've also been playing it?
Yeah, I started, as I said on the podcast last week, I couldn't get it the day of launch because apparently in my area, no one decided to stock it except for Walmart, who got like 2 copies. So yeah, I started it and I've been side playing it. I just passed Chapter 2. I was stuck on Balteus for a while like everyone else. Finally beat him. Beat the spider the other day. I haven't played since then. I think if this episode goes up early, I can actually play some tonight. So I need to start Chapter 3. And thanks. Nice to hear that's kind of short, so I can hopefully get through this game pretty quickly. Are we moving on to my full discussion, or are we just talking about Armored Core?
Well, I mean, we finished everything within case
Okay.
of that game, but like we can actually talk about like another game that the non-Starfield peeps have been playing, and Dark. Sea of Stars. All 3 of you have been playing Dark Fusion and Moon.
Yeah, so I guess we'll leave Dark last for that because he actually beat it. So
Like a
Fusion and
weirdo
I
already.
can speculate and have fun with it, and then Dark's gonna go into like his deep dive. But I'm not too far in. I just got to the second, I guess, island or area or whatever it is. And I'm seriously enjoying it. Like, the sprite work is beautiful. The combat is simple but effective. I guess Dark will let us know like if it evolves much beyond what we have right now. But I'm severely enjoying it. And if it hits everything I want it to hit, it'd probably be in my top 5 for this year. What about you, Fusion?
Yeah, I'm also really enjoying it. I think I'm just slightly further than you. I don't think by much though, but like to the combat, like I'm starting to. It does this cool thing where like to be interactive since it's turn-based, you can like have button prompts to like there's a boomerang ability where if like I click X right before it hits the enemy, it deflects back to me, and like as long as I keep that going, it continues. And it's like I've gotten really good at with those button prompts and like getting the timing down. So like there's some times where like some of these abilities I just keep going on and on. So the combat's like been really hitting for me. And I think the characters are hitting way more than I thought they would. Like the characters, like I've been loving them. And like Moon said, it's literally like I think personally it might be the best looking like pixel video game I've ever played. Like I don't know what the actual art term for it would be called. I assume like pixel. There's probably more
Just
in
pixel
depth way
art.
to say it.
RPG.
Yeah, like pixel art. it's just like it looks really good, especially on the OLED. Like my TV, like the colors just pop so well. Those are like I'm trying to think. I had something I wanted to say, but like I honestly forget. But I'm liking the lore and the world building a lot so far, and the music has been incredible. I forget who the composer is. Dark probably knows the composer, but like
It
I'm
is
pretty
the
sure
same
he just
composer
worked on it.
who worked on Xenoblade. I don't remember his name off the top of my head.
Okay,
If you like
okay.
Xenoblade
I was
music,
gonna say
you like
Oh
Suicide He did a
god.
fantastic job.
no.
Well, this is off my list.
I'm telling you, the music is very good so far. But I
Fucking
knew
hate
he
it.
worked on something like super important because I remember his name was like important. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I should have a beat. Honestly, since I have the long holiday weekend, I could probably beat it over the weekend. It just depends how if I'm going to go for 100%, which Dark's probably going to explain like what an issue with the game that
Why
might
you
stop me from
shouldn't.
going to 100%. Yeah. So how do you feel about it, Dark, after you beat it?
Okay, so I'm just gonna give my thoughts on the game before I get into that last part because oh boy. But I was really hyped for this game when they first showed it. But after playing through it and actually beating it, it is one of, if not the best, just like standalone. You don't even know anything to jump in, just hop in, play RPGs. And I think this is very beginner friendly too. And I would highly recommend this game to anyone, especially if you never played JRPGs before or this type of game, to hop into it. The characters are incredible. The world itself, although it takes a little bit to start up, it does open up dramatically. You fall in love with these characters and such. Going into the combat, I like how it was very simple. At first it was kind of rough, and I know Moon can attest to this because he was playing it with me at the same time. I was struggling with the button timing and such. But I think after like a couple hours after that, I kind of got like the hang of it to the point where I eventually ended up mastering the combat. And it's just a nice rhythm you get into back and forth. It is not long. It took me around 22 hours, and it takes most people 25 to 30. And then there is only one big complaint that I have, which is there is a normal ending that you get just by beating the game, and then there's a true ending. And in order to get the true ending, you have to basically you have to 100% the game or get very close to it. And to me, it's so stupid because there is so many collectibles and different things that you have to get to do this, and it feels like you're getting locked out of a really good experience, and it's just like needlessly dragging it out.
Missable collectibles?
Yeah.
Like missable, like I have to restart the game to get them again.
Oh no. So they're just hidden around the
good,
world.
good. Okay, good.
But even then, there's like I think there's like 60 of them or some shit you need to get. Like 60 rainbow shells. That's what they are. I've explored quite a bit inside the game. I always, when I had the chance, I took the side path to explore. I only found 22 out of the 60. I was like, what the fuck? But besides that, this is honestly probably one of my favorite games of the year. If Zelda didn't come out this year, that would probably be my game of the year.
Yeah, that's honestly how I feel about Armored Core. It's like, man, if Zelda didn't come out this year, like I would have like such a cool looking game of the year. Like, oh, Armored Core 6, like, oh, you know, you can that's a fun conversation, but it's like, it's Zelda. Like fucking boring
Hi-Fi Rush
shit.
and Assassin's Creed.
I mean, Hi-Fi
So-
Rush, yeah, I do like Hi-Fi Rush more than Armored Core.
So what I recommend for everybody is that you guys play through the game, just get the normal ending, and then watch the true ending on YouTube. Because at the time of recording
There
this,
you
it's
go.
not up yet because nobody has done it. Because of how fucking
Nobody
stupid
is
it is.
man enough.
Because how tedious it is. No one's done it.
Yeah, later on, by the time like this goes up, maybe someone will probably have it uploaded. Just play the main
It's,
game. Then
it's
watch
going
the
up
rest of it.
tomorrow. I don't know if it's going to be that much.
Okay,
Yeah,
maybe
it
within
has
a
to
week or
come
so.
out soon.
But it does take people that long to beat the game, anyways. Just do that like that, and you have a great time.
I'm very impressed with the game though. Like genuinely, like it's been one of my most anticipated for like years now, and like so far it's delivered. We'll see how it goes. Like the way Dark talks about it, he made it sound like the story beats got better as the game went on, and like
Yeah, they
the
do.
places you go and explore. So like I'm already really enjoying. Like I'm 7 to 8 hours in, and granted, Hi-Fi Rush is my game of the year right now, and I'm already thinking like even if they gave me just 10 more hours of what I'm playing, it would be my game of the year already. So like
Hi-Fi Rush is
that's where
still
I'm
your
sitting
GOTY?
at. Yeah.
Man, what
Hi-Fi
happened
Rush
with
is
you?
mine right
This
now.
is not your year.
I mean, I play Final Fantasy. Like we're not gonna get into the game of the year conversation,
Yeah,
but like,
yeah,
but yeah, like I haven't played I didn't get to play Zelda. You know what I mean? Like that's
Oh,
not a
yeah,
game
that's
I
right.
gotta play. So
Fusion and I are
wasn't
going to be
like
the
on my
only ones
channel.
holding Zelda back in the Game of the Year talk
See,
discussion.
that's the thing. There's a small part of me that envies you guys. Like, man, imagine if I didn't have such a boring Game of the Year. Like, oh, Zelda. Like, okay, you and everyone else, like an NPC with Zelda. as
Starfield's
GOTY.
not your game of the year.
Like, yeah. No, it is my Game of the Year. That's why I'm boring as hell. I'm like, damn, I wanted something cooler to be my GOTY.
I said Starfield.
I thought it.
Oh
No.
no,
Oh.
Starfield's not gonna be on the top 10.
That was my last save. I want you guys to know that was my last save. It's like, you know what, Starfield, that would be such a cool looking goat. That ain't happening. That ain't
Honestly, I
happening.
think Baldur's Gate, when I
Thank you,
play it, may
sisters.
challenge Zelda, but we'll see.
I'm praying. Baldur's Gate, dude. I look at Baldur's Gate. It's like, you know, maybe this is maybe what I want.
It's like you're that meme right now. It's like you're playing with Starfield right now, and Baldur's Gate's walking by like, oh.
That's the whole time I'm playing Starfield. I'm not even joking. I'm like, man, you know, it'd be fun to make a character in Baldur's Gate. Like, oh, you know, that elf girl looks really cool. I want to know more about her. It's like, fuck. Why
You're
don't I
like,
think of Baldur's
turn-based
Gate?
combat.
Oh my god, turn-based combat.
Instead of having to clear out this outpost yet again.
What was that noise?
Exploration?
Exploration. That doesn't even exist.
Well, play
Moving
Sea
on.
of Stars, yes. Play that
Yeah.
video game. And it's
Fusion,
on
you also-
every subscription service.
Oh yeah.
There
that's
is
it.
no
on
reason
PS
you
Extra
guys should
and
miss
Game
this
Pass.
game.
Yeah,
100%. Yeah.
I expect everyone here to play this game by the end of the year,
Oh,
so we can
I'll
talk
play it,
about
don't
it
worry.
on Game of the Year.
Yeah.
I'll play it by the end of next year.
Nope, that's not the cut. Actually, You're
He's
off the
he's
podcast.
got a Trails game to play. You know.
Yeah, he got the 17th Trails game.
Speaking of which, there's another
Yep.
Trails game coming out this month.
Oh no.
I gotta play
Fusion,
Baldur's
you
Gate
also
as
beat it.
well.
Fusion, you also beat Inscryption.
I did.
I
I'm
wanna
not
hear
gonna go
about this.
I won't go too deep into it because I just can't. Like, it's a game that I can't give you anything because I want you to go in blind. But I will say, I fully enjoyed my time. There was a mid part where I was very frustrated. I just myself not being good enough. So like that's just me needing to get good because once I got good and got over the hump, it felt really good. But like if you like roguelikes and you like deck builders, like I didn't finish Slay the Spire because I didn't like it that much. But
That's
like
my game.
I thought this hit way more than Slay the Spire for me, and it's one of the most
Interesting.
unique video games I've ever played, like straight up point blank ever. Like one of the most unique experiences I've ever had.
That is exciting. That gets me interested.
It's on PlayStation Extra, even if like you have to buy it. I doubt this game's more than $20. Like I would recommend it to everyone here. There's probably a part where like you get thrown into it and you might not know what you're about to like get into, and you're gonna have some frustrations. But like if you just continue with it, I think it's going to be a really special moment where you're like, wow, this clicks and it goes like it does it really well.
You got me so excited to check this one out. I mean, like saying it's one of the most unique. That's how I felt with Tunic when I did that last puzzle at the very end.
Oh, yeah.
Tunic. That moment was like, I can't believe gaming can do this. Like, I can't believe like
I've had
something this
moments
cool
with that in this game where I'm just like,
Damn,
no one's like
that's
thought of what they're whatever. I forget the dude who made the game. I'm pretty sure it might be a one dude team, but like he just made this video game and it like when the moments hit, they just hit so well where I'm like, no one else is doing this in the genre.
That is so interesting. I'm
Currently,
very excited to
Inscryption
check
is
this out.
$20 on PlayStation Store.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say like
I don't got $20.
yeah,
No, I'm kidding.
that was a lot.
No, that $20 has to go towards the PS Extra increase.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
yeah,
see
and
that.
it's on PS Extra. So like, if you can just upgrade the PS Extra for like I upgraded the PS Extra for $9 for the rest of my thing for Sea of Stars, and then Inscryption was just on it. So I was like, I'm gonna try it out, and I'm very happy. Like I tried it out.
Interesting. I guess moving on. Dark. Oh wait, no, not Dark. Who is left? Jat. Is Jat
Yes.
back? Okay, you're
Yes.
back. What's it called? You got a good amount of stuff here, actually. I guess first talk about FF7 remake and Jedi Survivor. You beat both of those games.
Yes. I made you proud, Wolf. I have beaten Final Fantasy VII remake.
Good
It
job.
was like thank you. It was such a good experience. It felt lovely. Like that final boss sequence. Like I loved it,
God,
and
it's so good.
it's
It's so
it's
freaking
good.
cool.
Yeah, it's so
It is
good.
cool, and now I want more of it. And there's a game coming out around the corner next year, and I have to buy a PS5 for it. Ugh. But yeah.
Oh, we'll see you there. Don't worry.
We'll see you there.
Should have bought that Spider-Man while I was there.
Yeah, you're right. Should have bought
Don't
it.
let the FOMO get you. Don't let the FOMO get you.
The combat is just so good.
That combat
It's-
is out of this world.
It's the best combat in gaming for me.
Like it's in my top 5. Like every time I think about it, I'm like, it is so good.
Yeah, I thought about like, wait, what if I jumped to Final Fantasy 16? But after I heard your guys' opinions,
No,
I'm
don't. You're gonna hate. You're gonna hate video games after that. You're gonna think, wow, this medium sucks.
Yeah, and then
People will probably think like
You're
FF16 and
serious?
Starfield like actually like hurt my children or something with how I talk about both of those games.
yeah, and then the other game, yeah. So Jedi Survivor, man, that game had a rough start. I played it only a little bit when it launched, very rough. But then I got back into it recently, played it, and it was nice. Like it felt like a good game. It was just more of the same, but I don't know. I just like after I beat it, I'm like, okay, cool, I'm done. I don't feel like any lasting impact, if that makes sense. Like it's not a game that's on my mind or anything. It's like, yeah, it was just a fun seat. It was
It was
just a fun
certainly a
game.
game of all time.
Exactly.
Yeah, me and Fusion talked a lot about it, so I don't want to go too into it, but yeah, both of us seem to be semi-disappointed with it.
Yeah, no, that's understandable.
I
Yeah,
understand what you mean by like it didn't leave a lasting impact because I explained where it felt like just a second game in a trilogy. Like that's all it felt like
Easily.
it felt like a stepping stone to an ending. Like the entire game just feels like not filler because it's more than filler, but it's very like a lot of it just wasn't even needed for the third game that's going to happen. So like I understand what you mean by like no lasting impact on you because the first game like set up the universe. I feel like this game didn't expand on it as much as it should have, and then you're gonna get the third game that's gonna come at some point, and we'll see how that is.
Yeah, exactly. And like the only other thing I'll put is like, especially later on in the game, they'll add some cheesy stuff to the story, and that's when you'll realize, oh yeah, right, Disney owns Lucasfilms. This is they're doing. Yeah.
You also beat one other game straight.
Oh yes, Stray. Yes, this was like
Game of the year contender, Stray, mind you.
Yes.
Okay, I know.
Game
No
of
one's
the year.
saying that. We're not saying that anymore.
Revisionist
Yeah.
history going on right now. Stray erasure.
Stray.
Erasure.
Like, yeah, I just wanted something to play on my Xbox between when Starfield comes out and right after I just beat Jedi Survivor. So I'm like, oh yeah, this is a cute game. Play it for 5 hours. Yeah, and it is indeed another one of the games of all time. Like,
Well, okay, like on. What's this about? All right, I'm in my chair now. Explain.
all right, in the beginning, I get excited. I'm like, whoa, you're a cat. There's literally a button that you can meow and you can scratch walls. The like level, like the world design, very cute. And then later on, I'm like, okay, my excitement has just kind of drained. This is just
Oh my
yeah.
god. Oh my god. What is this? What is
It
this
definitely picked up
disrespect?
once you got that little flashlight.
Yeah.
Stray is a great game.
Yeah,
What
I'm
is
pushing.
this?
I'm pushing back on this. There's like
Yeah,
I think about the world building in Stray once a
it
week,
is
which is sad.
phenomenal.
It might be
That's
sad on my
world
part, but
building
like
is
I think the
phenomenal.
world building is fantastic in that video game.
The way
okay.
they do so much non-verbal storytelling in that
Yes.
game, where you
Yeah.
really feel like you are a part of this world and you actually care about these characters, and half of them don't even speak. You, as the protagonist, do not speak. You're just a fucking cat, and damn it, it works.
Yeah, okay,
for
I'll
bad,
give them
though.
that. Like the storytelling
Yeah,
was very the storytelling was very good. The ending did get emotional. Like I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. If you don't get emotional there, then you're just a cold-hearted human being.
You're not a
I
human.
liked a lot of the puzzles too. Some of them were creative.
Yeah, very fun.
The one where you actually had to get in the wheel to move it around was, I'm like, oh yeah, this is fun.
But yeah,
I'm about to replay
go ahead,
Stray.
Fusion. Dude, honestly, hang on. Now, I mean, like, that is a game that, like, I don't really is game of the year contender. No, it is not. But I really had a great time with Stray. I think that is a very solid, like 8-hour experience, if shorter than that, actually, like 6 hours.
I was gonna say because I got the platinum, and you can beat the game in under 3 hours or something, because to get the plat you have to replay it and then speed run, and I think it was like 3 hours long to hit that speed run. So like if you speed run it, it's a very short game.
Exactly. It's a very interesting thing in that regard. But like I don't know. It's like again that world building, that story, like everything in that regard is great. But I understand like Jets. What were your criticisms? It's the gameplay, correct?
Yeah. It's just the gameplay that I'm like, all right, I'm not as excited as I originally
fair.
was.
And I 100% agree there. I think the
Yeah,
gameplay
it's
is
the
like
weakest part
the
for me.
worst. Yeah, it is the weakest part, where you're just like, even like the areas where you're running away from the little gremlin things. I forget what they're called. Like those parts, I was even like, I don't really care to like run away from these little gremlin rat things. I don't know what they were, but like I just wanted to be in the world and like talk to like these robotic characters. Like the bars were so cozy. Like they would have all these bars, and like the robots work in the bars, and like the clubs. And I'm like,
Yeah,
I want to live in this universe. Like this was just a very unique universe.
100% agree. But yeah, that's pretty much everything you wanted to say, right, Jet?
Yeah. That's pretty much everything. I've beat a lot, but
Yeah,
it's been a good month.
That's great.
You beat a lot of good games.
Oh yeah.
True.
And
Yeah,
now we
no,
could all be hyped for a rebirth next year.
Jeez.
Yeah.
God, I can't wait.
I need to stop thinking about that combat. Like that combat. So good.
You'll never stop
So
thinking about
good.
that combat.
Such a
But yeah, no, especially compared to FF16. All right, that's enough.
Wolf.
But yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I was yelling at you.
Oh no. Okay, you were just getting mad at me. This is a really loosey goosey podcast, as you can tell. But hey, you know what? That's everything that we've been playing. Moon, get us out of here.
I hope you enjoyed this podcast. It's 50% podcast, 50%. I mean, 50% Starfield, 50% other stuff, with just a pinch of Stray, I guess, as we went really deep into that for some reason. So hope you all enjoyed. Thank you for giving a slice of your time to a Slice of Gaming podcast. We will be here next week as well, with probably more Starfield discussion as we get deeper into that game.
Wolf will hate it even
I'm sure
more.
they'll have even more thoughts about it. Yeah, Wolf will hate it even more.
Oh, 100%.
So I hope you all look forward to that. We'll see you guys next week on the next episode of Slice of Gaming. Have a good night.
Bye.
Play Sea of Stars.
Yeah. Good night.
Play Sea of Stars.
Don't play Starfield.
Here's Game of the Year.